Guys, what's going on? Hold on one sec. I think it's loading. Okay, we're live. How's it going, guys? Bill Amadeo, and today's topic is going to be judicial elections, prosecutorial races, and this is a pretty critical topic. Today we have 1 to 3 inches of snow. We're suffering through COVID-19, and these elections are not going to be normal procedure. It is really difficult for candidates to actually go out and campaign. There's stay at home orders, obviously. And I think social media campaigning is going to become the new normal. Today, what we're going to do is discuss different races for the bench, different races in the prosecutors' races. We're going to talk about different counties. I'm going to tell you some of my experiences. And I am coming at it from a criminal law perspective. So not everybody will agree with my views. I could tell you this. As a criminal lawyer, what we want from a prosecutor is not a free pass. If you're a good criminal lawyer, what you want is somebody who sees things fairly. And in certain counties, Oakland County, Livingston County, I can tell you that hasn't happened in a while. And hopefully there'll be some changes there. I've talked to a lot of people in the communities about these issues, and I'm just going to kind of let it rip. Some of the things I say, I'm not really going to hold back today. I have views on certain prosecutors who I feel have abused the law, and some of those people are the reasons I'll be voting in the direction I will be voting. We'll talk about that. I've been talking a lot to Matt Muxlow on these issues. Matt, if you're out there, just checking in. Matt has a lot of history in politics. He's somebody that will be working with our firm in time. He's going to be a great lawyer. Of course, Nick Sanderson is, like a brother, my private investigator, my process server. Nick does it all. Nick and I have been discussing these elections at length. And I will tell you that in these elections, it's not really about Republican versus Democrat. It's not really a left ring versus a white ring situation. These are kind of like you're picking the individual. And I know nationally, if you're a leftist, you're going for Biden. If you're a righty, you're going for Trump. That's fine. That's not what really these elections are about. The partisan issue kind of gets thrown out the window when we're talking about electing a prosecutor or appointing a judge. It's kind of a different ball of wax. So let's start with Livingston County. Okay. The Livingston County prosecutorial race. William Vanincourt is the head prosecutor there. I know him from my time on the Brian L. Lee case. I know him on some other big cases I worked on out there. And the reality is, there is little of no respect for him. If you go to Livingston County and you deal with somebody like a Sean Ryan, who's an APA, and you have like an OUIL1, she won't give you an impaired generally. You'll have to fight tooth and nail for ridiculous things. And that's the product of Vanincourt. Judge David Reeder is running for the prosecutor's race. He should be the head prosecutor. Whenever I get a call for a case in Livingston County, people I call to refer those cases to are Bill McQuarrie. And my first trials, I sat second chair with Bill. Bill's been like a mentor, maybe the best trial lawyer in Michigan. I aspire to have his knowledge of the rules of evidence one day. He's a special lawyer, and he's backing Reeder. Carolyn Henry, who, if she was running for prosecutor, I'd be behind her 110%. Great attorney. And Tim Livingston, who was really kind and knowledgeable to me when I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And those three people are really, you don't get better than that in Livingston County. And from what I understand, the defense bench is completely behind Judge Reeder. I know Tim Livingston and I talked about it. I know Bill McQuarrie and I talked about it. So it's definitely time for a change in the Howell and Brighton area. It's time to let lawyers be lawyers. And right now, with some of the policies in place, justice is basically thrown out the window. Livingston County suffered through the Teresa Brennan drama. And somebody like Judge Reeder is the individual to clean things up. So I'm going to get behind him in that race. Oakland County. What do you say about Oakland County? I know this week I've gotten some attention in Oakland County, and I'll briefly discuss that. But it's really kind of opened my eyes to things because I've always had a problem with Oakland County. I don't do a ton of work out in Oakland. You know, my big four have always been Washtenaw, Wayne, Shiawassee, and Eaton. I have active files in about 11 counties right now, but they're my big four. And Oakland is just not a pleasant place to practice. I know a lot of really good criminal defense lawyers won't waste their time going to Oakland. It's too much drama. I know I had a larceny case there about a year and a half ago. My client was charged with 6 counts of larceny, no priors. I believe his scoring guidelines were 0 to 3. Standard procedure, you would waive the prelim, get over to circuit court, and negotiate a delayed or deferred, whatever the policy would be at that time, and call it a day. In Oakland, the prosecutor actually forced a preliminary examination over a nonviolent felony, which is kind of new to me. Usually if I waive a prelim, prosecutor appreciates it. We're working towards a goal. There's strategy sometimes in waiving a prelim. I could tell you in Lapeer it's a little different, but we'll save that topic for another time. But, in Oakland County, I got a guy with larcenies. It's certainly a defendable case. Let's get it over to circuit. Let's plead this thing out. Let's protect him from incarceration. Let's keep it off his record. Call it a day. Game plan's in place. Prosecutor made me run the prelim. We went from 6 counts of larceny to 3 counts when the prelim was done. That's a disastrous result for any prosecutor. Prelim is such a low burden. If you can't get a case bound over in a prelim, you really don't know what you're doing. And this case, it wasn't really the prosecutor's fault. He told me Jessica Cooper is forcing us to run prelims. I don't know why you would waste resources on that, but okay. I got my client the deal I needed, but it took 14 appearances and 3 memos. I'm not sure what Jessica Cooper is doing there, but it's time for a change. The situation this week was a pro bono case where the incarcerated individual was serving 100 days. Let me repeat that. Serving 100 days in the Oakland County Jail for driving while suspended second. Not sure how driving while suspended is even a crime at this point. When you take somebody's license away, what do you think's going to happen? They have to get to work. They have to go to school. Whatever the case may be, they're always going to be at risk. And for a judge to give them 100 days in jail is insane. I contacted the public defender for the defendant.
It's 15 hours.
And the PD would not get back to me. The wife called the PD of the defendant. I did a motion pro bono. It was a 12-page motion with statutory authority why to release this man early. I'm told he had COVID, and he's serving 100 days for a misdemeanor. And Judge Nicholson said no. I don't know what to say about that. First of all, why was the lawyer for this poor man not fighting like hell? Secondly, what are we doing giving people 100 days on a driving while suspended? My God. It's time for a change in Oakland County. I spoke to Karen McDonald today, and her credentials are beyond impressive. She was on the bench. She was a prosecutor. She was in private practice. I strongly advise that Karen McDonald is the person who could potentially do a facelift to Oakland County. Jessica Cooper, I don't know what her agenda is. I don't understand her policies. I'm friends with a lot of prosecutors that no longer work in Oakland, and I just don't understand how she's been there as long as she has, and how the community has accepted some of her draconian sentencings. It's ridiculous, the policies in Oakland County. It feels like the defendant is guilty before being proven innocent, and that's really a shame. So I hope you guys get behind Karen McDonald. And, when we talk about these prosecutor races, let's just be real. I'm a defense guy. I'm always going to be a defense guy. You don't expect, hey, Steve, how are you? You do not expect a prosecutor to hook you up because you're friends with them or because you got behind them in a campaign. What we want from a prosecutor is objectivity. We want fairness. We want to be able to work with that prosecutor as a team on certain issues. This protects judicial economy. It will protect our clients. And obviously, if the wheels fall off, hey, let's go to war. They want a war, we'll give them a war. It's always our saying, right? There's certain things that simply should not happen. And in Oakland County, a lot of those things have been happening. So let's get behind Karen McDonald on that. Let's move to Macomb. Well, some drama there, huh, guys? Unless you've been living under a rock, you know about the Eric Smith situation. I don't know if Eric Smith's guilty or not. There are some prosecutors in Macomb I have a great deal of respect for. Stephanie Stager is an amazing and fair prosecutor. I respect her a great deal. There are some other ones that I feel shouldn't have their bar license. I don't know what's happened in that office or what Eric's agenda was, but somebody else is going to get in. And the guy I like is Peter Lucido. I mean, his Rage the Age plan, making minors have a higher age to not be tried as adults is something where it's really forward thinking. Raising the age is a great concept. It's hard not to like Lucido. He's a no-nonsense type of guy. And he's somebody I'm going to get behind in that race. Washtenaw County is interesting. It's the hometown now. A lot of stuff going on in Washtenaw. Prosecutor race. We have two really good candidates. Arian Slay is somebody who her knowledge of the law is second to none. I've learned so much from Arian. When I started crim law, Arian did not take advantage of the situation. She was fair. She was objective. She wants to protect the community. Amazing candidate. Ellie Savitt, he's somebody with a great resume, somebody I respect a great deal. I like his position on eliminating cash bond. It's hard for me not to stand behind Ari when I see all the things we've done together throughout the last few years. Um, I will say that there are problems with that office right now. There are some great prosecutors in that office, and there are some not so great ones. I think everybody knows my history with John Vella, how we almost came to blows a couple times. I don't think a prosecutor like that who's trying to flex their muscle has the interest of the community in mind. I know right now I have a CSC with a prosecutor, and I won't mention their name on this video, but there is no physical evidence from an allegation that was reported 24 hours after it allegedly happened. The alleged victim changed her story. The medical report shows no injuries, and yet you have a young man charged with a CSC1 fighting for his life. And a prosecutor who says, I don't care if they pass a polygraph. Well, it makes you wonder, what is Brian Mackey doing over there then? I've learned to have a lot of respect for people like Conrad Siller and Yasmin Wint's a great prosecutor. And Amy Rise, we'll talk about her later, somebody who's very knowledgeable. And Andrew Shoulders, though we're banging heads on a few cases, he's a knowledgeable guy. But there are some things going on in that office that have to change. And I think Arian is the person that can make those changes. If Arian doesn't win, I do hope that Ellie changes the culture over there. Because the Brian Mackey culture has been unfair, especially with CSCs. We cannot just keep charging people on hearsay. And it's been a problem in that office. When we talk about the bench, there's a circuit court opening. I'm definitely standing behind Amy Reiser, and I know that throws a lot of people off because Amy and I have banged heads. There's been CSC cases with Amy and I where we just did not see things, weren't on the same page, and that's going to happen. I don't want to judge who's going to give me what I want all the time. I want to judge who's going to look at the issues objectively. That's why I have so much respect for people like Judge Simpson or Judge Matthew Stewart in Shiawassee or Judge Michael Hattie in Livingston. I've been really lucky to come across some amazing judges. I go on and on about Judge Hines and Judge Valvo and Judge Pope, and what an amazing bench we have in Washtenaw. This circuit court election is pretty critical, and Amy is somebody who always sees both sides of the issue. She's somebody who is a step ahead of the curve, in my opinion, and certainly hope and going to support her moving forward. Shiawassee, aka my second home. Well, I don't know what's going to happen in that prosecutorial race. I have heard that Robert Hinojosa is going to run as the Democratic candidate. I will say that I completely get behind Scott Korver. He's a great guy. And once again, Scott and I haven't seen things eye to eye. Here's what I really admire about Korver. Scott was a defense lawyer, and a good one. Then became a prosecutor. He was a good one at that. Somebody that sees both sides of the issue. He's somebody I respect and look up to. I mean, he's the perfect guy. Deanna Finnegan and I certainly had some issues. And if you know me in Shiawassee, Josh Shamplin is one of my closest friends. And he's the leader of the Argus Press. He's their beat writer. And I've got to know Josh. And some of the things that Josh has had to deal with from that sheriff's department is utterly ridiculous. With that being said, I look at that circuit court. Judge Stewart's like a mentor. Chrissy Lab is somebody I respect. I consider her a friend. I know Melissa is going crazy with scheduling. It really is a place that looks to the community. as opposed to some ego-driven places. So, I mean, I have a lot of respect for Shiawassee. I don't respect Brian Bagol. I have my issues with Jerry Dennis. That's well documented, if you know. I don't care for these people at all. In any situation, you're not going to care for everyone. But I think throughout all that, who you like, who you don't like, who you respect, who you don't respect, you look for objectivity. And that's what we find in the circuit court with Judge Stewart and his crew. I think with Scott Corver, we're going to have somebody who is going to look beyond the issues. He's somebody that's going to be tough on crime, but he's going to be fair. We want somebody objective. And I really do like Scott. Turning to Wayne County. Wayne County's a tough place. You know. My first capital case was in Wayne. And, you know, people know about the Eric Coleman case. May he rest in peace. Eric, miss you every day. What I had to go through in Eric's case was insane. And yeah, there's a theory that we're not going to put any weight in the polygraphs. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. The Frank Murphy Hall of Justice is a tough place to practice as a prosecutor. It's a tough place to be a criminal defense lawyer. And it's certainly a tough place to be a jurist. When I look at referee Nicholas Hathaway, I see somebody who is a rising star. I see somebody who cares about the Wayne County community so much. I mean, it's admirable. Obviously, as a criminal defense lawyer, you're not going to always be on the same page with your judge. It just can't happen. But when I look at referee Hathaway, I see somebody who was a damn good prosecutor, been a referee. He understands what's going on with juveniles and how we treat them different. He has got great ideas for how to treat senior citizens different. Nick Hathaway, hopefully, will be on the circuit court bench at Frank Murphy. I know myself and my friends are definitely behind him 110%. He's somebody you aspire to be. He's a true role model. He should be on that bench. A couple other things. In Washtenaw 14B District Court, I know my friend Lorraine Washington is running. I'm behind her. I don't even know if anybody else is going to run for that seat. Nobody else should. Rain's done it all. She already has ideas to advance a mental health court. 15th District Court in Ann Arbor has a mental health court. Rain wants to bring that to Ypsilanti. And being the worker she is, I'm sure she'll do a great job. And I want to get behind her. So I think that's it for now. I don't think anybody is going to run in Shiawassee against Judge Stewart. Last time I checked, there was nobody running, but if anybody wanted to run against Judge Stewart, I would tell them, just don't waste your time. He's there for a reason. He'll be there for a long time unless he wants to aspire to Court of Appeals or the Michigan Supreme Court. Wherever he goes, I would certainly back him. I've never had a judge teach me as much as Judge Matthew Stewart. And he's a tough sentencer. I will tell you, he's one of the toughest sentencers in the state. But if you work for your client, you show the blood, sweat, and tears, he's going to meet you halfway. And when I was going to run for judge, I sat down with Judge Stewart, and he said something to me which was really powerful. He said, the type of man you are is the type of judge you'll be. There were words that kind of stuck with me. And I realize, I'm a fighter. There's no question about that, but I'm not objective enough to be a judge at this point. The people I mentioned in this video, the Nick Hathaways, the Amy Risers, the Elaine Washingtons, they're people that are objective. They're not just intelligent, they're objective, they're fighters, and I hope to learn from them. I don't have that type of objectivity right now. I will tell you, every criminal case I have, I fight 110% like my client is innocent. And I will truly convince myself they're innocent. And obviously, they're not all innocent, but they need zealous advocacy. And that's the only way I know how to play the game. I respect the pressures of the prosecutor, but I'm just not on the same page with them. And that's where we're at. And what I'm hoping in these elections is that we put some prosecutors in place that are not just going to look for their conviction rate, not just going to look for how many years somebody did in prison or how many months somebody did in county jail, but instead they're going to look objectively at the case. Prosecutor has a tough job because just like the criminal defense lawyer has to answer to their client, the prosecutor has to answer to their victim or their alleged victim. And there's a lot of difference of opinions that go into that. So, at the end of the day, I want you to think about David Reeder, and I want you to think about Karen McDonald, and Nick Hathaway, and Peter Lucido, and Amy Reiser, Arian Slay, Rain Washington. These are people that can bring restorative justice to the bench and to their positions. These are people we need to get behind. Voter turnout is probably going to be at an all-time low. I don't know how long COVID's going to go on. And it's tough to get people to vote under normal circumstances. What I'm going to ask people and what I'm going to tell people when I ask my opinion is, objectively look at these races. How does the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice not improve if we put somebody like Nicholas Hathaway on the bench? How does the Washington Circuit Court not benefit from somebody like Amy Reiser? There's no answer to that. They do. So we want to get behind that. A lot of research has been done from my friend Matt Muxlow. Again, I'm going to mention Matt. He's going to be a great lawyer. Look forward to working with him in time. Let's wait on those bar results. Comes from a long career of politics. And he's reviewed some stuff. And every time I like a candidate, I ask Matt, hey, what do you think of this person? What do you know about them? I don't want to just support somebody because I like them personally. Everybody I mentioned, I think, has an eye towards making our criminal justice system better. I think that's important right now. We're in a tough time, guys. We are in a time when teamwork is essential. Prosecutors, defense lawyers, judges, probation officers, we need to be a team. It's not happening as quickly as we would like, but we do need that. And I believe the people I spoke about today will not only adhere to that concept, they'll be leaders in that concept. We need to get through this together. When we are back, when it's business as usual again, our courts are going to be slammed more than they've ever have before. We got to be ready for that challenge. And these elections are critical to that. So, all right, guys. I want to thank everyone for their time. Hope you're staying safe and staying warm. It's cold outside. It's snowy. It's COVID. It is what it is. Let's stick through this. We're all going to get through this together, guys. Take care.